All right, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm JustMoparJoe. I know y'all like a little bit of variety sometimes, so I figured I'd paint a hood. It's Mopar hood, and it's Mopar color, so y'all should like it. And if it turns out okay, I'll like it. If it turns out really nice, Bondo Billy will like it. Let's look at the hood. If y'all remember, I once had an orange 1970 Cuda. You'll see it as the little icon for my channel. That was my first race car that I actually built myself. Pulled it out of the weeds, I think for, I don't remember what it was, maybe $500 and a 30 pack or something. It was an old tube chassis car. Anyway, years go by, I sold the car. I have no regrets about selling the car. The car and I were done. And I know the guy that bought the car. He's all right. But I told him the other day, I said, man, I think I got some paint left. Here's the paint. That is Nason, or Nason, some people say. Vitamin C orange from 2009. So I guess I could challenge people out there. If you've painted a hood or vehicle with paint older than that, let me know in the comments. So I'll get this out of the way. I did pop the top off. There's no rust in the can. It's been sitting in this old damp, humid shop forever. There's a few solids at the bottom, but it looks pretty nice. Here's our hood. So you'll see the big square cut out. There's a Dominator on that car now, and it sticks out of the hood. And he has one of those big clear hood scoops for it. So I got it out back to do my sanding, and I'll probably prime it out here. But I think I can get it in the shop and do my actual painting on it. The hood itself is in kind of, it's okay. I mean, I've only ever seen a couple other fiberglass hoods that were in their gel coat, whatever you call this. Around these kind of factory looking scoops, it's kind of terrible. And I want to get you close on that so you can kind of see. And that, you know, I guess they do the best they can. It's made in a mold. Over here, the body line, that line just totally disappears, and it looks like someone has taken some very rough sandpaper across it. Maybe it had a big booger or ugly spot that they took out of the factory, but I'm gonna get down in that, clean it up some more. You can see more roughness there that looks bad. Looks bad all through there. Somebody took 30 seconds and a piece of sandpaper and went over it and called it good. Both sides are like that. The hood itself, for flatness, I think it's all right. But you know that most fiberglass hoods are kind of wonky and wavy and whatever. This is fairly lightweight. I definitely won't leave it outside. But it's not total lightweight. I wouldn't call it the race weight hood, but it's light enough one man can take it off and on just fine. Anyway, the first thing I had to do, whoever, I guess the guy installing it, had a bunch of dirty, greasy fingerprints all over it, so that's a big no-no for painting. So I just went over it with a scuff pad and some Dawn, and just try to wash those off the best I could. I know a lot of it's going to come off anyway, but I do enjoy a good wet sand. I know a lot of people don't like it. That's okay. It is what it is. Kind of keep the fiberglass dust down and all that. But the hood itself has a pretty good texture to it. I hope you can see some of that. And that's got to come off. So my plan, sand the entire hood. I'm hoping I may have some 320. I'll see how that does. If not, I'll use 400. Run over the entire hood. Hit the funky areas here with maybe some 180. See how that digs. If I need to use 80 and then step it up a couple times, I can. Not a big deal. And then I'm going to prime the entire hood, one coat, and then probably sand that primer with 500, just so to get a nice slick finish. That's just how I like to roll. I mean, everybody does a little bit differently with body work. That's okay. That paint is acrylic enamel, so it's single stage. I'll just spray and pray then. So I may shoot me a quick guide coat on here, let it kind of tack off and kind of go to blocking, just see what happens. I want to hit all the flat spots that I can with my little block. I got a foam block also that I'll go over it and around the curves. So I got one scoop done. Taped her off, took my sandpaper. This is actually a paint paddle I cut down, and I cut my groove. So hopefully you can see that. My tape was peeling up a little bit here. I just wanted to hit that groove, make sure there's no trash inside, anything like that. You can do this for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours if you want to. That's not the terms of this job. It'll look nice, much nicer than if I hadn't done anything. So I'm gonna get the other side taped off. I gotta get my stash of tape from Bad Tree Productions that they sent me, and get this thing taped off on the other side. I'll probably come back tomorrow and get my sand on. So, see my guide coat everywhere. You can actually see how dry it is. Part of it wipes off, but as I go sanding, it will stay where it'll go, and it'll show our ugly spots. So, all right, next day, went ahead and went around my scoop here with some 180, carefully hand sanding that. I got me some 220 on a block here. I see it's kind of sloppy and loose right now. I hit this dry just to look it over. There's some low spots coming up. I think that'll come out pretty easily. I'm gonna use this long block, get my long flats and all that jazz, and come back and now we are getting closer. I got all my flats blocked, safe as I can. I didn't want to run into any of these whatever convex, concave lines. The big flat part of this, the block's pretty long, so if I try to run it off here, I feel like it may kind of cut a corner or something. You see a little bit of still little white dots and stuff. That stuff's got to go, but I'm gonna switch to my probably 320 or 400 and knock the rest of the black off this. That way when I do my coat of primer, it's gonna be more like a sealer, and if it lays down good, I may just paint over the top of that. Like I said, this is a quick, cheap, and dirty deal, but it's gonna look nice if I can get the paint to lay down. So let me swap to my other block. I got I mean, you can use your hand if you want to. I got a wet or dry sponge. I can wrap my paper around and be able to get stuff like this, and it will get in there. I can lift it, There we go. I can lift, I can push, I can manipulate. Getting all through here and all that stuff. Be able to knock her off real quick. Not a big deal. I'm gonna get my spray bottle and add a little Dawn soap with it. I found that usually if you have a little Dawn with your wet, it'll keep your paper cleaner and make your job a little faster. Here's our hood after it is all dried up real nicely. So I final sanded this with 400 after I did my 220 blocking, and I knocked off all the little black. And just sitting in this spot right here, it's already getting dusty and funky outside. So I got to get it moved in the shop, sprayed off, wiped off, tacked off, grease and wax remover, and then I'll shoot my Cuda sealer primer, whatever you want to call it, on here. And then we'll be ready to paint, I think. So this is Summit 2K primer. I know it looked a little goofy in my initial application, but it was just a little awkward with the gun. I don't know, I guess I hadn't sprayed a long hood in a while since the old red car. One thing I did, let it flash about 20 minutes. See, I got a little bit of tiger striping, doesn't matter. I shot the whole thing with water, and I got a soft pad and a piece of 1000 grit, and I ran over it, and it took out all my little pieces of trash and little, I don't know, whatever you call them. Then I rinsed that dude off and dried it really well. I think it's ready to shoot some paint on. I may wipe it over one time with a little more wax and grease just to be sure, or just grab my tack rag. This is obviously not the cleanest environment to paint in, but again, this is a anything I'm painting a lot of times is budget friendly. So this is going on my old race car for a buddy of mine. So I'm gonna get our paint out here. I did mix it up the other day. You can see that orange stick, but check us out. Vitamin C orange, 5.5 of 2009. There you go. May 5th, 2009. So that thing just had a birthday. What is that, 14 years? 14-year-old paint. I gotta get my mixer out and get her mixed up over here. I figured y'all wanted to see what it looked like in the mixing process. The rules I was always told is that, one, if you store your paint upside down, a lot of the solvents and stuff will go kind of be on the top. And then if you flip it every so often, I think my grandpa said flip it about every 6 months. Check us out. She'll look at orange. This is a shop paint mixing apparatus. Let's introduce it here. There's got to be some solids in there, but I'm not really feeling them. Simply amazing. Got a few stripes right there. May need to tighten my pattern up some. I think she's pretty slick. Bondo Billy said to move quickly. Humidity is about 50% here. I'll let that flash and hit her again. here it is. It's all the paint I'm putting on it. I'm pretty pleased. It's got trash because I'm painting in a trashy shop, but got a little piece somewhere right in there. The finish is super nice. Like, this sucker could be wet sanded and buffed and be border show car kind of deal. So I love vitamin C. It's like probably I would say it may be more forgiving than white painting, just because it hides a lot of imperfections. The hood looks pretty nice and straight. See if I can get you out and over it. All my blocking worked out well. We can look down through here. Yeah, I got like the little edge of a run all the way down that. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Hopefully the paint doesn't fall off on the floor tomorrow. And I know I've said that before and someone didn't know what I was talking about. It's possible. Man, I love that. I don't know if I can get it out in the sunshine today or not, but she's a slick one. Anyway, it's really not bad for 14-year-old paint. I think so anyway. This kind of looks like tiger striping, but it's not. It's the contour of the hood there and there. We like it. We like it. Anyway, I appreciate y'all watching, and maybe someday I'll be a painter. I'll catch you next time.